interested bidders to explore effective teaming arrangements with one another. So this session will be facilitated by all of you to allow you to focus, really your message and your efforts based on your bidding needs. So if we go to the first slide, we'll see the agenda for today. This is a list of all of the presenters that will be speaking this afternoon. Each presenter will have a 10-minute time slot. We suggest a 5 to 7 minute presentation and leaving some time at the end for questions. Folks are welcome to provide questions to the presenters in the chat. Unfortunately, we might not get to all questions, so we encourage interested parties to reach out to presenting organizations after the call. Everyone should be presenting contact information, so please, it will be your responsibility if we're not able to get to questions on the call to reach out to presenting organizations. I do want to point out that this event will be recorded. We want to make sure that presenters are able to reach parties that may not be able to join the call today. Also want to make sure that if you're interested in hearing a section but you need to drop, that you're able to go back and reference this call. We understand that 3 hours is a long time to ask for everyone to take out of their afternoon, so we want to keep that recording as an artifact from all of you. So by presenting, you are consenting to being recorded and having that publicly put out on NYSERDA's dashboard. If you have concerns, please message us. We did cover this in the tech check, but organizations will be able to use video when it is your time to present. We'll bump you up to a panelist and you'll be able to turn on your mic and video. You will get a 2-minute warning in the chat if your time slot is coming to a close. We will need to be pretty strict with the 10-minute allocations because of the packed schedule this afternoon. So very quickly, I just want to blast through a high-level overview of the IEDR, and then we'll start with our first presenter on time at 12:05. So next slide, please. So very quickly, just want to remind everyone of the IEDR vision statement. Really, at its core, the IEDR aims to create streamlined and equal access to energy data and energy-related data across New York State to help with our state's clean energy goals and our clean energy resistant transition to a cleaner, more resilient, and more affordable energy system. Next slide, please. Very high-level overview of our key milestones and timeline for the program. Right now, we're in between our Q1 and Q2 milestones listed here. The RFP is obviously live. We'll be looking to award a contract with the development team by the end of Q2. Early Q3, depending on how negotiations go. And I will remind everyone that the RFP responses will be due on May 12th. We'll be looking to launch our first public iteration of the IEDR by the end of Q4 this year. And then our MVP, our minimum viable product, that will meet all of the phase 1 goals of the IEDR order by Q3 of 2023. Next slide. Very high level, just because we got to get started on time. This is the high level user experience that we are envisioning for the IEDR that will involve a user being to access a diverse set of information, explore and analyze that information using a diverse set of tools, identifying new opportunities, and ultimately helping to transform their business and the grid in New York State, meeting our CLCPA goals. So if we hit the next slide, again, want to make sure we start on time at 12:05. We'll pass it to our first presenter. And hopefully the events team here can help us elevate permissions for Doty Information Technologies.
Hi, Gary Schiller here. You can hear me?
Perfect, we can. Thank you.
Okay. Are you moving the slides or do I?
We'll be able to move the slides for you. Just let us know when you want us to advance, which I think we can.
I'm ready now. All right. Well, thanks very much. Happy to answer questions at the end for anybody that has questions. We've been involved with Doty Information Technologies, who's a systems integrator working with the state. I am actually with a company called Denodo Technologies, where Doty is a partner of ours, and they provide implementation services around our platform, which is a data virtualization platform. So we are a company we've been in business for 20 years. At the core of our business is a data virtualization technology, which I'll get into in a little in the next couple of slides, and we feel that this type of technology will provide New York State with this high-performant real-time access to multiple sources of data. We do have customers in the energy space. So we have, and by the way, we have over 1,000 customers overall, and we're a global company. We have offices in 24 offices across 18 different countries, and we're a leader in both Gartner and Forrester Waves around data integration. And customers that we have, as an example, in the energy industry is Southern Company. Southern Company is a conglomerate of companies in the South that provide services around, or provide electrical and natural gas companies. TransAlta, which is a electric power generator company based out of Calgary, Alberta, and Enverus Drilling Info, which is based out of Austin, Texas. They're an information provider in the energy industry, and we're able to provide through our partners like Doty an end-to-end solution for implementation of this technology. If you can just go to the next slide, please. So in going through the RFI, we're focused in these areas, which we'll talk about how we do that. So the ability to secure a large amount of data across many sources, that's at the core of our technology, is to be able to virtualize multiple data sets and be able to manage and secure that data. So depending on who those users are, they'd have access to the right information. Analyzing information that could be integrated into other applications or tools such as BI tools. We're able to provide an interface to those other technologies, and providing advanced controls to manage users. So depending on which user is accessing the data, we have the ability to secure that data for specific users. And we talk about timely performing user analysis because we can provide all of this in a real-time scenario. And as I mentioned earlier, we can secure and export data to other systems. And as far as security, we adhere to rigorous systems security and operating processes. So the right data will stay within the hands of the people that need to have access to that data. And if you can go to the next slide, please. So what I'd like to do here is just give you an overview of how the technology works. So if you follow this diagram from the bottom to the top, we connect to different sources. We currently connect to over 150 sources. We actually have data adapters that are built into our product. You see just a handful of the names of the products that we connect to. once we connect to that data, and you see the middle tier, the red box, that's where the magic happens. And we connect those data sources, but we're now combining those data sources. So if your data, as your data does exist across different data sets, different data sources, the data could either be on-premise, the data could be in the cloud. We can combine those data sources to make it look from a user perspective that data source is one data source, so a 360-degree view of data. So, and then you could see that we can connect, we provide a self-service capability, so users that want to have access to data. We operate in a hybrid or multi-cloud environment, so Denodo itself could be running on-premise. Your data could be on-premise or in the cloud, and Denodo can also be implemented and leveraged across either one or multiple clouds. And we provide governance, so again, making sure that the access to the data is securely governed. The special sauce, I guess, that we really provide is query optimization. So when we're connecting to these multiple data sources, we have techniques in terms of how we can optimize the query, so how we can get access to that data much quicker. We're starting to implement a lot of AI and ML in our technology as far as recommendations of which types of data can be used. So this is all happening in this middle tier of this red box. And then if you look at the very top tier, we have a data catalog. So the data catalog is a way for you to explore the data that exists in this environment. So from a user that wants to see what type of data they're connecting to, you could leverage the data catalog, but not just to see what data, but you can see who's endorsing the data, or if certain data has been deprecated because maybe you've moved something from on-premise to the cloud. What are the categories of data? So if you're looking for a specific subset of data, it's very easy to find that data using the data catalog. And then, of course, you can see just a handful of different types of tools that are available. So you could be leveraging this environment through a BI tool or multiple BI tools. And the benefit here is that because you've created your virtual layer in the middle, it doesn't matter which BI tool you're using. You could leverage and connect through the Denodo platform so that you can govern that data in one place and not have to redo that across each of the tools. And of course, you know, today data scientists are leveraging that data, and we provide a platform that allows you to spend more time actually exploring the data and less time preparing the data. And that's something that a lot of our customers, a lot of the data science teams that leverage our customers are seeing more time to actually do the job that they were hired to do and less time preparing data that they need. And then of course we have different APIs to connect to the data. So if it means connecting it or leveraging other applications, we have RESTful APIs, OData, GraphQL, and so on to leverage that data. And if you can just go to the next slide, I actually have you can go to the next slide, please. Yeah, so you can see on the very bottom, I just had a transition from just showing the types of data that existed in the New York system. So just to summarize here, this is my last slide. We offer a data abstraction layer. So what we're doing is we're decoupling the data from the applications. And that means that the users don't really they don't need to understand where the data is coming from or which data sources are being used. We provide a business layer decoupling that from the actual data sources that they came from. Data integration without replication. So that's again one of the things that's what Denodo does. We provide a data integration tool without the need to physically move data. Traditionally, data integration involves moving data using an ETL tool or writing scripts to move data from one database to another. We leave the data in place and we connect to that data. We don't have to physically replicate any of that data. And we can connect to any types of data. So you saw on the previous slide, we had about 150 connectors. So whether that data is a relational database, or it could be something semi-structured or unstructured, or something like a Salesforce or other types of SaaS applications, we could connect to any type of data, and we provide that capability to have access to that data in real time. I mentioned the data catalog on the previous screen, so we're providing that self-service capability for a business user to understand what data exists and who's endorsing the data, and which data should I be using for any type of analysis that I might be using it for. And then we provide this unified metadata and security. So we provide a secure environment for users that access the system, and we deliver data with intelligent query optimization. So that's how we're able to provide a solution that's very high performant, even though we're connecting to all these multiple data sources.
Thanks, Gary. Unfortunately, I'll have to cut in. We are at our 10-minute time. So thank you so much for presenting today, and we'll move on to our next presenter.
Hi, everybody. This is Claire from Flux Taylor, and I'm about to share my screen with some slides. Yeah, and also if somebody can turn my video on, that'd be great. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. Thank you, Claire.
Great. All right, so I'll quickly go through these slides to leave some time for Q&A. Flux Taylor has been in business since 2017. We're a niche consulting firm specialized in the use of utility data for customer engagement. We have a unique position in DER data integration, and we have been involved in the REV and ITER processes since 2014. And that's both me, Claire de Schepper, and my colleague Doreen McKenzie, who will introduce herself later. When she was working at Avangrid, she also engaged with the Public Service Commission and has been involved in data access in New York State. So our expertise is in technical implementation, alignment with data exchange standards, and data privacy. We specialize in the development of requirements and engaging with stakeholders. So I'll advance to the next slide here. Here's some highlights of our work. We've collaborated with Mission Data, who's been a very active party in the ITER process, and wrote a white paper with them several years ago on the different configurations of data sharing with what are not just third, but nth parties, fourth, fifth, sixth, etc. And so there's a link to our white paper there. And then we also have been engaging on behalf of DERs and data aggregators with utilities to try to get better access to data. For example, setting up separate portals for them to perform web scraping, which I'll address later. Then we are also involved with the Green Button working group. We're currently under a NIST grant, and we're involved in the Business Payments Coalition e-invoicing framework. And then there's some links to some tools we built, and I have screenshots of those, so I'll advance to those then. So Drury and I met in 2018. We did a project with 4 New York utilities and a consulting firm named Indigo Advisory Group. And we want to feature that because one of the ideas that bubbled up there is a centralized platform for data sharing with DERs and for customers to manage consent for DERs. And that was called the Trust Portal. So it looks like some of the ideas that the utilities were working on back then and were aligned with are coming to fruition now. So that is very exciting for us. And that's why we want to be involved in the project. All right. So some examples of our work. This is an EV rate comparison engine we helped build for PG&E, our West Coast utility. And we came in and helped build the model for the customer data and the time of use tariffs, and worked with the developer to implement that, to test that the outputs of the model in the application were correct. and we solidified the methodology specification, and that was a really great project, actually. So we're looking forward to doing similar work like that for New York State. And then another recent project is that we build out a mapping application for looking at the impact of electrification in New York City, because folks are concerned that the electric grid won't handle it. So we worked with Urban Green Council on that, and primarily in a senior advisory role there, helping them set up that project as an agile project because they hadn't done software development before. So we didn't actually have to support them much because they're very smart. I encourage you to play with this web tool. It's fun and it looks very pretty. Then we did a project for NYSERDA looking at feasibility for ground source heat pumps, specifically in Westchester County, and worked with several firms to realize that several years ago. And that's been very well received as well. So this is a diagram showing the Green Button Connect standard, and then particularly in that, a statement element that we're working on adding. And the reason I mentioned web scraping earlier is because that is how most DERs currently get the cost data. And that, of course, should be avoided. So we want to be able to make at least bill images, if not complete bill data, available through Green Button Connect APIs. And yeah, feel free to reach out afterwards to ask more questions about that. And so I've been working with energy data for the past 11 years. I used to work at a company called Bright Power when they were just 11 people for the first year of Local ID4 benchmarking. I was there and helped build a data team there over 5 years. I started FlexTailor because I realized I'd built up a niche expertise that could be useful to many different kinds of organizations. And then I'll hand it over to Drury to introduce herself. I'm not sure actually if Drury is connected to the audio. So if she is not, Drury has been FlexTailor's entrepreneur in residence mentor over the past years. That's a NYSERDA program, and has been a startup advisor for a long period of time, and taught classes as well on entrepreneurship. And she worked at Avangrid for a number of years and helped them release and launch their Green Button pilot program. So she has a deep expertise both in use case development, engaging with utilities, and realizing the goals of energy startups. So, and yeah, we're a woman business enterprise registered with New York State since 2019. Any questions? Let me see if I see any questions here. I'll stop sharing. Are there any questions in the Q&A over here?
So it doesn't look like any have been submitted. Certainly encourage everyone to use the Q&A function if they would like. Also, please feel free to follow up with any of the presenters after the presentation.
Okay. If that's the case, I'd like to make use of my time for just a small public service announcement to maybe some of the other folks who are new to the process who are presenting today. They might be looking also at the teaming arrangement form, the names of the companies that are on that form as being interested in being primes on this project. Just as a heads up, those were submitted at a time when the requirements of the RFP weren't known yet. And it appears that many of those companies are reconsidering their intent to bid based on some of the requirements, in particular, cybersecurity insurance, the indemnification clause. But I think for a lot of the tech companies, the requirement that NYSERDA owns the IP is a showstopper. So I just wanted to give everybody a heads up that that list, the companies that are on there, if you're reaching out to them, they may not respond to you anymore because they may have reconsidered their intent to bid. So just wanted to put that out there. And also, I hope that folks have enough time to form partnerships when I suggested this matchmaking session would take place to encourage WBEs. My hope was that there would be more time to form actual partnerships. So just welcome everybody who hasn't been in the mix here. I think it's important that this industry becomes more diverse. So I'm happy to see everybody here. And I thank NYSERDA for this opportunity.
Thanks, Claire. That brings us to time, and we'll move on to the next presenter. All right, representatives from Georgia Tech, please take it away when you're ready.
Sure. Okay, thank you. Can you also enable my video, if possible? And somehow I can't turn down my video. Hello?
We can hear you.
Okay, that's okay. We can go without video.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, that's okay. No
It
problem.
should be in the bottom of the tray next to your mute unmute. You should see
Yeah,
video.
somehow it doesn't really work. So I guess I'll just move on without wasting my minutes. So okay, so good afternoon, everybody. I'm Chuan Yiji. I'm from Georgia Tech, and we are data scientists. So this is actually in collaboration with National Grid. Next slide, please. Okay, our goal to participate at IEDR is to provide data analytics tools, mostly, and also tools for data sharing. So we have been working with utilities, New York State utilities, for quite some time. So those tools would be able to engage better communities enrichment and also policy making. Next slide, please. Okay, so our background actually are in large-scale data analytics. So mostly we first go through, say, what the people in academics would go through to do the rigorous modeling. But the uniqueness about our approach is that we also collaborate closely with, for example, people in industry, so that we can incorporate their needs and also physical characteristics of the grid, rather than just blindly plugging in data to machine learning algorithms. So our focus in that regard, in fact, is on the field, meaning that we try to use common data, which are widely available to, for example, a lot of utilities or users, and also try to develop lightweight algorithms, which can be easily plugged in with existing system. Next slide, please. So we have already been working with 7 utility service regions using large-scale and granular data in the US in the past years. 4 of them actually are in the New York State. We also have 9 years of outage data, and we do analytics at 2 service regions in New York State and also Massachusetts, provided by National Grid. So because of the, we have an opportunity to use large-scale data, granular data, and also to be able to work with industry in New York State. So we were able to publish the results at leading energy journals. For example, Geo Press, that's a recent work with National Grid. And also we had kind of like a signature paper from Nature Energy in 2016, which was supported by NYSERDA. So that was with 4, I'm sorry, the New York State utilities, all 4 utilities, Avangrid, let's see, Central Hudson, National Grid, and also Orange Rockland, and PSC. So I think the just to give a little bit of detail on the work. Next slide, please. Okay, so analytics use case, which is one of the cases we have developed for analytics, is to study how restoration or recovery performance from severe weather events actually scale with respect to severity of the weather events. For example, we used 9-year outage data in New York State and also Massachusetts from National Grid, combined with weather events or weather data from NOAA to identify different types of events, from winter storms to non-winter storms, from moderate events, large number of moderate events, to major events declared by New York State, to extreme events. So next slide, please. And then we were able to draw new knowledge from the data. For example, utility, we found that by following density-based recovery, which is kind of to recover large failures, prioritize recovery on large failures, utility, National Grid in particular, has been able to maintain persistent performance, good performance across wide range of weather events from moderate to extreme. However, the commonly used rule of thumb by utilities also has its own limitations. For instance, 90%, let's say the customers of large failures can actually be recovered quickly. However, the remaining large number of small failures, although they affected only 10% of customers, they actually experience prolonged duration. So if, for example, we have 1 million customers got affected by extreme event, then that's 10% still a big number. So that'll be 100,000 customers. So by using those data analytic tools and also the data from utilities, next slide, please. In fact, we already have quite a few analytics and visualization tools ready to for performance evaluation, for resource allocation, and also for better engaging communities. So that's a new part. So we thought that utilities and also policymakers and also other users would be able to use those tools as a start, for example, in IEDR, okay, to evaluate and also to see the power of the data shared by IEDR. So that's one type of tools. The second type of tool we thought we could offer would be evaluation tools on data sharing. So as one of the earlier presenters told us that different data actually have been collected. However, different types of data, they have different granularity. For example, the data from the grid can be quite granular with specific location. Community usually is aggregated data, and weather data can also be either granular or aggregated. So that poses the challenge in terms of analytics. And analytics need to provide insights to integrate all kinds of data in terms of their accuracy, and also the trade-off between privacy security of customers and also the results, the accuracy of analytics. So again, we focus on lightweight and also adaptive implementation. Basically, we can just use our laptops to run large-scale data, and the software tools can be integrated with the existing platform or existing system. We are very excited. Actually, we are quite excited about the program, and also we are quite happy to team with other participants, for example, into the platform or users who can use our tools. Can we quickly quickly flashed out to the next 2 slides. Okay, so this one is just a list of all New York State utilities with whom we have written our papers at the leading journals. And the next one, please. The next one would be the list of publications and also the patent. Can we go back to the slide, 2 slides back? Okay, so any questions? Okay, so thank you so much for the opportunity presenting our work, and I'm ready for Timmy. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that presentation, and we'll hand it off to RK Software. Thanks.
Hello, thank you. I believe you have my slides. Thank you. I'm Sarah Inoue, and I work at RK Software. We started in 1999, so we've been around for over 20 years. And as you can see, we're MBE certified at the state and the city level. And we are so delighted to be here at a matchmaking event and definitely hoping to make a match as a subcontract. And, you know, subcontractors can bid with more than one prime. So we're a little open. And next slide, please. So we've been around for 20 years, as I said, and so we've had lots of clients, and some of them are actually missing from this slide because it's normally animated. So I apologize for that. If you look at the bottom list, we do a lot of work with banks. In 2001, we realized that there were a lot of new regulations in banking, and people here took advantage of that to write some new software for solutions in that area. And we learned a lot from that experience because we had to be compliant with new regulations. We had to pay a lot of attention to risk management and cybersecurity. And so we've taken those ideas through to all of the projects we've worked on since, and we really tried to be compliant with regulations. We are compliant with regulations and very conscious about privacy and security and risk. And we've also done some transportation. The clients missing there, we worked with Tompkins County Consolidated Area Transit, MTA, Department of Motor Vehicles, and we did do a project with the Syracuse Airport. And then at the city and state level, we have a lot of clients. Battery Park City Authority, we do web applications for them, including their permit payment, payment for their permits. So when people do meet that perfect match and decide to get married, they use our payment processing system to book a beautiful park in Battery Park City. And then we also are a GSA contract holder, and we've worked with the IRS and the FCC as well, which are missing from that slide on the federal level. Okay, next slide, please. Thank you. So this is an overview of our capabilities. And you can see we do a lot. We are a small company, but we care a lot about finding the right solutions for our customers. And we like to spend a lot of time at the beginning really working on what solution is best for them and really documenting what they need and want. We spend that time because that allows us to, get them what they need quickly toward the end. And it also means that it's easier to come in on budget and on time, which we always do, and we're very proud of. And next slide, please. So for this particular RFP, and this matchmaking process, we are offering our solution architecture services. So I just wanted to look at them a little bit more in depth. I know the solution architecture portion is really focused on the project management, and I assume that any prime would want to take that over themselves, although we would be happy to if you need us to. And we can certainly offer backup on all project management. We do a lot of business analysis, and so we understand use cases and all of those things that came up in the RFP a lot. And as I said earlier, risk management, cybersecurity, risk mitigation, and compliance are really important to us. ADA compliance in particular is important, and we really pay attention there as well. And we, as I said, we really document everything, but we're always open to changes, and we know how to adapt and manage change as it happens in projects. Next slide, please. So that's me, Sarah Inoue from RK Software. I'm the proposal manager, and we do work on proposals as a subcontractor often. So we're comfortable with all different ways of doing that project. So we can meet with you multiple times before this is due. I am a good editor and a good proofreader. I'm happy to bring those skills to this RFP process. But we're also comfortable if you want to say, we need an MBE, we'll put you in here and we'll write the proposal ourselves. So that's the overview of RK Software for solutions. Sanjay will be on much later to talk about building and developing and operating. Does anyone have any questions?
So we're not seeing any questions in the chat. Please do feel free to submit questions if you have any.
Yeah. I think I went a little fast, but I hope everybody understood me. And like I said, we are looking forward to making a match. Thank you, everyone.
Great, thank you so much for the presentation.
Yep. I had some extra slides in case people had questions, so those are appearing now.
So you do still have a couple of minutes left if you'd like to cover any material on that, you're more than welcome.
Okay, so if you go to the next slide. This is just from the Battery Park City Authority work that we did. They were having a lot of problems with cyber attacks and site outages, and they had this really difficult manual park permit process. So we updated everything and created a solution that really fit for them, and the payment process also works as a mobile project, and then you can also see all of the labor categories we provided. So if you go to the next slide, you can see the permit payment process in a mobile device. And then the very last slide, I pulled this out of the white paper just because it's clear that there's going to be a lot of data integration needs in this project, and we're happy to do data integration, and we understand, how to do that and what might be needed to bring all of the disparate data sources together. All right. Any possible questions? Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you again for that presentation, much appreciated. Moving on to our next presenter, we do not see any representatives on the line, but if perhaps a different presenter than the one who had initially submitted is on the line, please raise your hand or indicate to us that you would like to present, and we can go ahead and elevate your permissions. So we'll give a second just to make sure that no one's on the line to present. And if that's the case, we'll move on to the next presentation.
And this is the time slot for Sporda, S-P-O-R-D-A Tech, just in case we have a phone user that can't see the screen, which looks like it might be the case. Sal, I see someone's raising their hand.
Okay, call-in user 917742, your line is open for your presentation. Call in, someone on the phone, call in 917742, your line is open.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Ah, finally. I don't know if it's my time to present or not. I'm Hill Data Management.
No, we are on the Sporta Tech presentation.
Okay, I cannot see my screen. That's why I'm asking. I'm sorry. I'll wait my turn.
Okay, thank you.
We'll help you out, hopefully on the back end with that. So it doesn't look like we have anyone from Sporta Tech, so we'll move on to the next presenter. All right, do we have anyone from the Lytic group on the line? If so, again, unfortunately, it does not appear that we have a registered party on the line. If you are from this organization and you would like to present, please raise your hand and we'll elevate your privileges. All right, so unfortunately, it doesn't appear that we have a presenter for this group either. So I think what we'll do, just because we don't want to get too ahead of the schedule here, being respectful of our request for presenters to hop on at least 20 minutes before they are going to present, we're going to take a short break and we will resume as anticipated for the next section of presentations, which will be focused on design, build, and operation services at 1:05 as anticipated. So everyone is free to stay on the line, and we'll resume at 1:05. Thank you to everyone who's presented so far. Thank you for everyone's patience as we take a short break. Hopefully everyone can take a moment to catch up on emails, stretch their legs, and maybe grab a second cup of coffee. So again, we'll see everyone back at 1:05. Thank you. Hey everyone, so we are at 1:05, so we'll go ahead and get things started back up. Thank you again so much for attending the IEDR Development Team Matchmaking event this afternoon. Just a quick recap for anyone who might be joining. The purpose of this session is to provide an opportunity to allow potential RFP respondents to showcase their organization and capabilities to other interested parties, to provide an opportunity for exploring effective teaming arrangements with other organizations that would be interested in potentially bidding. So just a couple of quick housekeeping reminders. Each presenter will have 10 minutes to present. We will be recording this session, so by presenting, you are providing consent to have your presentation recorded, and we will be releasing this recording publicly on NYSERDA's dashboard for the IEDR to make sure that other interested parties who might not have been able to attend or attend for the full duration of the event can hear your presentations and potentially reach out for teaming arrangements. Again, you're more than welcome to leave time at the end of your presentation for questions. We do have a Q&A function for the event today. So if you have questions for anyone who's presented, please feel free to drop a question there. And if there's time in their presentation, they can either respond or obviously you can reach out after the presentation for additional communications. All right, so with that, we can go ahead and get started a little bit ahead of schedule, just to give ourselves a little bit of leeway. This section will be covering presenters that are interested in fulfilling design, build, and operation services that are listed in the IEDR Development Team RFP. And our first presenter will be Applied Energy Group. So we can go ahead, take the next minute to advance slides, pull up the presenters. Again, as a quick reminder, when it's your time to present, we'll elevate your privileges, so you'll be able to unmute your mic and present as needed. So with that, we can go ahead and elevate permissions for AUG and get started.
Great. Well, thank you. Can you guys hear me?
We can.
All right, great. Okay, can we go one slide ahead, please? So my name is Tim Maslach. I'm the president of the Ameresco Applied Energy Group business unit. We are a wholly owned subsidiary of Ameresco, the North America's largest energy services company, and I'll talk a little bit more about that and what that means for this initiative in a little while. My executive team is presented here on the screen. If anybody has any questions, any partnering opportunities for this and or any other initiatives within our space, we'd love to talk to anybody who's out there trying to change the world for the better as we are. Ingrid Roman, Eddie Sala, Greg Fenton, and Tom Phillips are my confederates running our organization. We have about 100 employees spread out across North America. And if we go to the second slide after this one, next one, please. There you go. Just some high-level information. About 100 employees. We have about 40 of them here in our Islandia, New York headquarters. So we are a New York-based company. We have another significant size office in Red Bank, New Jersey, which is kind of on the other side of Staten Island. So we're local resources. We do work now with NYSERDA on electrification and heat pumps, and have done a wealth of projects over the last 30 or 40 years there with NYSERDA. We've done work in the majority of states in North America and many of the Canadian provinces. We've got both consulting services focused on kind of the flower diagram to the right of your screen there, around DSM energy efficiency and electrification and DER program design, program implementation, data management around those portfolios of programs, EM&V evaluation work, and recently greenhouse gas initiatives, the CEOP program in California and things like that. In the center of that diagram, you see the Vision product suite. Vision DSM is a platform that tracks energy efficient measure attributes and installations across North America. We're in over 107 utilities, state governments, and in one case, federal government for a Bonneville Power Administration. So we launched the platform that became the core of the Vision product suite back in 2000, before software as a service was a thing. At the time, it was called ASPs, Application Service Provision. And that product and platform has evolved over the years to be one trusted by some of the biggest utilities and some of the biggest state portfolios in North America again. So if we could go to the next slide, please. Just a little more detail on some of the things we do in each of these areas. So starting at the upper right-hand corner, we're tracking carbon-based impacts of energy efficiency initiatives in all of the markets where this is starting to come forward. Less focus on kilowatts, kilowatt hours, therms of gas, and more focus on GHG emissions reduction and climate planning and so on. As we go down, market assessments, we have a group that's done, we believe, the most baseline and technical potential studies in DSM in America, in the United States. And we have a whole tool set that is part of our Vision suite that does those market assessments. So what is the baseline out there onto which we want to elicit some change? And then what are the potentials to do that change geospatially within utility service territories, within the equity pockets and low and moderate income pockets where we want to potentially focus more, spend more, or achieve more. And then as we go down to the lower right there, the program planning and design group, which is run out of my Red Bank, New Jersey office. They do program planning and design, benefit cost analysis, help utilities to work with the regulators to get their filings approved. We do expert witness testimony and so on. Lower left-hand corner of this diagram, we do program implementation. So in some cases, full portfolios of electric and gas programs, like for Minnesota Energy Resources and Liberty, Empire Electric District, Black Hills Energy, and then some more targeted stuff like the South Fork Peak Savers Program here on Long Island for PSEG, South Jersey Industries, South Jersey Gas in New Jersey. We run their portfolios for them. And then as we move up to the 9 o'clock position, data management and analytics solutions, that's where we're pulling in all the data from all of these different initiatives, quantifying savings, doing those benefit cost calculations, managing the results of the TRC and societal and utility benefit tests, and making sure that the money is being spent well. And then we have our EM&V group, which is evaluating the impacts, the processes, systems across utilities all over the United States. Next slide, please. Okay, just a quick footprint map. Everything that's blue is where we've worked to date. In New York, like I said before, we're working with a number of utilities: PSEG Long Island, Con Edison, Orange and Rockland, Central Hudson Gas and Electric. In the past, we've run programs for the Avangrid utilities, for RG&E and NYSEG, and done work for National Fuel and many of the municipalities as well. Next slide. So we're a subsidiary of Ameresco. They purchased us in 2011. gives us a wealth of capital investment when we want to build systems and when we want to invest in changing markets. But at the same time, we're a wholly owned subsidiary. They keep us as a separate organization so that we can have a Chinese wall between us and that ESCO entity. So when you think about an initiative like this, NYSERDA wants a tool that all of the ESCOs can use to further the cause of energy efficiency and the greenification of the New York State service territories. Ameresco, in this case, would have no access to our data. They'd have no access to any parts of these tools other than the public access that all the rest of the entities out there that'll take advantage of it will have. Next slide. So what are we trying to do here? We've got a series of systems, Vision DSM, that suite that I talked about before, that already has ways to, in very configurable manners, capture equipment data as it pertains to energy efficiency and electrification and DERs. And it's in place all over the place doing that now. When we think about the timeframes that the IEDR solution needs to be implemented in, you got to get to the market fast. And I think the only way we can do that is by using existing products, potentially expanding upon those products, but not beginning to build this from the ground up, from the first brick up. So when we think about bolting several solutions together to hit each one of the use cases, we believe that AEG has actually several different components of our suite that might meet some of those needs. So very interested in talking to anybody who is interested in partnering. We've already had calls with many of the partner list from the dashboard. And I want to thank everybody for taking the time to meet with us and talk through what a solution might look like. And very much looking forward to seeing this come to fruition. So thanks for having us, and I guess we can move on to the next.
So we do have 1 minute left, and we have one question in the chat. Is it okay if we try to squeeze that in?
Please. Sure.
There's a question of what are the gaps you are trying to close? So I think pertaining to you know, what you would be looking for in a partnering relationship.
So I think we picture ourselves behind the meter. So customers, buildings have equipment, attributes, consumption data from utilities, AMI data to support calculations of savings and things like that, bill disaggregation. We can do all of that piece. What we don't have is the utility T&D data, the circuit data to tell us whether or not circuits are going to be overloaded if you increase electrification in a particular region. Probably more, I'll stick with that. Primarily the utility data component. Right now, what we capture within our system is utility account data. So a customer participates in a program, that customer has 2 years of billing data, let's say, and some account information, meter information, the circuit the meter's on. We get that information into our system. We don't get anything further upstream into the utilities.
Thanks, Tim. We are going to need to move on to the next presenter now. We're at time, but appreciate that and appreciate the question in the chat. So let's move on to Cognite. If we have someone on the line, we'll go ahead and elevate your permissions now.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Jerry Noble. Can you hear me?
We can, thank you.
Great. Are you able to share our slides?
And Jerry, I was actually just trying to email you back. Those came in after our deadline to incorporate into our deck, but you should see the option to share your screen in your bottom bar if you'd like to utilize those materials near your mute button.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you. Can everyone see my screen?
We can. Thank you.
Excellent. Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jerry Noble. I am with Cognite. I am a director for them in the sales and strategy function. Joining me today is Philippe Bettler, who is our solution architect, and he'll be taking you through a high-level overview of our go-to-market industrial data platform that we call Data Fusion. So let me begin by just giving you a quick overview of who Cognite is. We are an industrial data ops company. We are globally dispersed in all the major geographical regions. We are over 600 employees currently today. We were founded in 2016, and we like to make the claim that we're one of the fastest growing industrial SaaS companies in the world. On the left, you can see some of our business partners. We recently announced a partnership with Saudi Aramco, and we've gone to market with two significant partners here in North America and globally, Accenture and Microsoft. As Microsoft, we are a global ISV partner. On the right, you can see our extensive list of our customer engagements across each of the heavy industry sectors, from energy into manufacturing, and specifically to this call within the power utilities and clean tech environment. So we've gone to market with our industrial data platform that we call Data Fusion. And so with that, I'm going to pass it over to Philippe, and Philippe will walk you through an overview of Data Fusion and then talk to you a little bit about what our needs are and some of the things we'd like to share with a potential match today. And so with that, Philippe.
All right, thank you, and hello, everybody. One of the complexities of the industrial world is the variety of sources that you see and the abundance of data, metadata. One of the key features of our platform, Cognite Data Fusion, is the ability on the left side to manage very different types of data, from equipment data that we heard from AEG, but also sensor data, and going through image 3D models, and also work orders and things related to the management of the infrastructure. So managing all of that data is very key to the success we've had with our customers. So moving on to the flow, the other challenges we're seeing is the ability also to query and see that data in a very standardized way. So as we transform the data, and finally, the data within CDF wouldn't be usable if it wasn't connected. I mean, you can get the data in silos. The challenge is that it's still a silo in the platform until they're connected. So we have strong features around data contextualization, the ability to reconnect and create a 360 graph, if you will, of all of your assets, wherever they come from. Meter data, could be T&D data, anything that we're connecting to. And also the power of the platform is the ability to expose that data, query it from a very standardized API and SDK that we provide to our partners, so that the data now is useful because it's connected, it's easily accessible, and it is coming in a very standardized way. From there, we do have a number of application solutions that are, some of them vertically targeted, some of them are pretty horizontal. As you can see, I mean, some of the platform is a SaaS platform, where most of what you see on the screen is going to be working in the cloud, with a few elements obviously sitting on the data source provider. I see a few questions. So we do support SIM because the platform is very flexible in terms of the data models, and we have experience working with one power utility in particular on the SIM with the SIM model. Jerry, I don't know if we had other slides you wanted to present.
I do, Philippe, if you want to speak to this slide, or we can move forward.
Sure. So so one of the challenges in a lot of the engagements we've had is the problem from going to a POC to something that can scale up, right? And I think that has been across the board. And so we pride ourselves for moving very quickly from an MVP side to a production without really, I mean, bridging that gap between an experiment and having something that scales. So you can see here a few of the use cases we've addressed and the variety of sources and technologies that we use to implement those use cases, from dashboards to robotics to exposing the data through dashboards or UIs. I won't speak too much. I don't know if we have more questions. I can speak a little bit to this or spend time answering any other questions we would have. So
maybe we can get to the opportunities here, Philippe.
Yeah. Yeah, and so as hopefully I conveyed, the strength of our platform is really in managing various types of data at a very large scale, and really being able to expose that data to the user, to the consumer of data. One thing where we have less experience is or less I would say drive, because we're really a product company, is really so a few points, right? Developing a UX or UI is something that we don't necessarily are keen on. So having a partner that would be more on the service side and has experience developing UX and UIs for when we look at PI and SPI data management, mostly B2C applications. And then we are not necessarily organized to really manage the operation of the IEDR platform once it's in production. So these are the few criteria where we would love to talk to partners that have that skills or experience.
Excellent. So let's open up for questions. Are there any questions? Okay, well, we appreciate the time today. Please feel free to reach out to myself or Philippe for further clarification on our capabilities with Data Fusion and potential opportunities for partnering on delivering the IEDR platform. But with that said, we'll end there. Thank you.
Thank you both. Much appreciated. We'll go ahead and get our slide deck back up and pass to the next presenter, which I believe should be Georgia Tech speaking to design, build, and operation services. If you give us a second while we're transitioning, we'll elevate privileges, and then you'll be able to get started.
Georgia Tech team, you are clear to present.
Okay, thank you so much. Can you see me by any chance?
No, not at this time. I don't
Okay,
see.
that's okay. So we will we will move on without video. I'm actually from Georgia Tech, and we are a group of data scientists. So next slide, please. Okay. We come to IEDR quite excitedly because we know that NYSERDA and the New York State are actually providing much needed data and also platform for the entire community. So for us, mostly what we could provide would be software tools on data analytics and also data sharing. So our goal is to be able, at least as a start, we could satisfy, maybe meet the needs of joint utilities and New York State, and also policymakers and communities, for example, disadvantaged communities, which is what we are doing currently. Next slide, please. Okay, so our expertise is actually in large-scale data analytics. Mostly, the way we do data analytics is because we are from academia. So we would first go through the rigorous design by considering spatial temporal modeling with physical prior knowledge about, for example, the grid, also, let's say, the connectivity to customers and all that. So rather than blindly plug in the data into machine learning algorithms. So that's not what we do. And also importantly, we try to develop data analytic tools quoted in the field. Next slide, please. For example, we try to use the commonly available data and also granular data at large scale from utilities. So far we have used the outage data from 7 utilities in the US, 4 in New York State. And we have also used 9 years of outage data at 2 service regions in New York State and Massachusetts provided by National Grid. Oh, by the way, National Grid, we have been collaborating with National Grid. So they are quite interested in working together at IEDR as well. So with the large-scale data provided by utilities and also the analytics algorithms, we were able to publish our results at the leading energy journals. For example, Geo Press, that's recent work with National Grid. And also, we have a signature work supported by NYSERDA and published at Nature Energy. So that was with all utilities and New York State, including, for example, Avangrid, Central Hudson, National Grid, and the Orange and the Orange Rockland. So next slide, please. Yeah, just to provide a little bit of detail in terms of use case on analytics. So our recent work studied how restoration performance from severe weather events actually scale with respect to the severity of the events. So we have 9 years of outage data in New York State and also Massachusetts from National Grid, and we also combine with NOAA data on weather events to identify different types of events from winter events to non-winter events, so that we have a wide spectrum of events from large number of moderate events, and also to major events declared by state policymakers and up to all the extreme events. Next slide, please. So using those large-scale data sets, we are able to obtain new knowledge, which were unaware in the prior work. For example, we actually show that the commonly used restoration policies, for example, to target large failures or cluster of failures first. In fact, the result in quite nice and persistent, consistent performance in the national grid territory. However, the such utility rule of thumb over the years also has its own limitations. For example, a large number of small failures, which affected, of course, a small percentage of customers usually experience long downtime durations. Yeah, but although the percentage of customers for small failures is small, if the event is quite severe, for example, let's say the million customers got affected, so those customers experience long durations would still be of large number. So in that case, okay, next slide, please. Using the analytic tools we developed over the years, we thought we could contribute to IEDR at the start for joint utilities and policymakers to use and other users to use for better community engagement and also for resource allocation and performance evaluation. So that will be a big group of analytics and visualization tools. Secondly, those tools, I mean, the two additional tools, we have also developed on data sharing. For example, different types of data, as mentioned by other presenters, on the grid, communities, and also weather and so on. So they have different granularity. So how to, in fact, maintain the accurate performance of analytics versus the privacy and the security of customers and providers is actually quite important. So we have ways to kind of to determine what type of granularity would be needed. So overall, the algorithm analytics we developed, in fact, target on lightweight, meaning they can, although we get gigabytes of data, we can usually just use a laptop or devices to run them. And also our implementation is adaptive so that we are able to add in new features. And as I mentioned, this is jointly with National Grid, and we are quite happy. And also, in fact, we are quite enthusiastic to team with other potential collaborators on IEDR. Okay, thank you. Any questions? Okay, yeah, thank you for showing those remaining slides. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for the presentation. And unless there's any other questions, we'll move on to the next presenter. All right, so privileges should be all set and you're good to go whenever you're ready.
Hi, this is Kevin Sternberg. Also with me is Avanesh Shukla. We're from Nagarro. Here to talk a little bit about our application development solutions. Could you go to wrong slide set?
Sorry about that. One moment. We'll hopefully
No worries.
sort this out for you. And since we're running a bit ahead, don't worry, we'll make sure we keep 10 minutes on the clock for you.
Could you actually pull up the slide deck?
And Kevin, just to confirm, did you share slides with us before the deadline?
Yes, I did. Let me see if I can pull them up here real quick.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like there might have been some miscommunication. So if you do have them, would appreciate if you'd be able to share.
Just give me 1 minute to bring it up, and I'll talk through it quickly.
Sure, and I apologize for the miscommunication and for the delay, everyone. Again, we'll make sure that we start the 10-minute clock as soon as you're able to pull up the slides.
Now always comes my tricky part.
Yep, we're seeing your screen.
Okay, it's not quite the screen I wanted with the slides, but let me try one more time to share that properly. Let me just go with this in the interest of time here. So Nagarro, we have 15,000 employees across 26 countries. We have a pretty large presence here in the United States. Our main U.S. headquarters is down across from the World Trade Center in New York City. Next slide, please. Oh, that's me. Okay. We're publicly listed in the German stock exchange with a $2 billion market cap. Our core values are about caring. We're very client-centric. We strive to be agile, responsible, intelligent. We're non-hierarchical. We're global, and last but not least, certainly is caring. Avinash, can you explain a little bit more about our CMMI Dev 5?
Absolutely, Kevin. Thank you. So, I mean, as an organization, we have evolved and matured over the years. So, we are pretty much CMMI Dev 5 level certified. Only 2% of the organizations across the globe are even CMMI, and out of that, very few are CMMI level Dev 5. So, what that allows us to do is like we are able to execute project with a high level of predictability of success and follow mature processes to handle any risk or any changes across the project lifecycle. And then we are also ISO certified for information security management, quality management, environmental management, and occupational health and safety management systems as well.
And these are some of our global clients. And here are some of our government clients. We have a very large presence in New York City, as you can see. We also have some experience with New York State, with the New York State Gaming Commission. And this gets into some of our service offerings here, just to kind of highlight some of what we've done with New York State in particular. With the New York State Gaming Commission, we were able to quickly implement a Dynamics solution, Microsoft Dynamics solution for them. And what that really did, besides modernizing their system, it really allowed them to control things going forward. Platforms like that make it very easy for the customer to make changes themselves. So as legislation comes in or as changes comes in, they don't always have to run to the IT people to make the change. They're able to go in there and do that themselves. And also within New York City, there's some examples of that as well. Avinash, do you want to touch base on a few of those?
Yeah. And since we are focused mostly on the data analytics part, excuse me. So we have been working in the New York City for almost 10 years now, and I've been involved in turnkey projects which have transformed the entire data landscape for organizations like DSS, DYCD, DOE, Mayor's Office, and many more. Our work on the data includes from it comprises of anything right from taking the data in its current shape and form, doing the data transformation, building data warehouses on top of it to help identify the golden record, and also create services and reporting solutions on top of it. And once the organizations which have more mature data structures and have wealth of data, then we engage with them to leverage the data to come up with AI ML based efficiencies down the line.
So in closing, I think we're very open to partnering or teaming with companies where they think we can be of some assistance that may have a lot of the energy systems knowledge and such, but don't have the bandwidth or the capabilities to provide a large scale application development project. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions.
Thank you so much both for the presentation. It looks like we do have one question that's come in. Are you solely focused on UI development?
So yeah, we definitely have UI UX capability, and if you look outside public sector, you would have used kellerwilliams.com, Twitter, SanDisk, Intel. So lot of these leading apps have the UI UX component, or even the whole app done by Nagarro folks. So yes, we do have UI UX as one of our core focuses. And definitely the whole UI development, whether you talk about leveraging Angular or any scripting language to develop the UI.
All right, do we have any other questions?
And just let me add to it, like, so just let me add to the original question, just saw it on the text. So we are the system integrator, and we are able to provide end-to-end solution. Whether that means developing the backend, the business logic, or the intermediate layers, the connecting layers, or the UI UX part of it.
All right, any additional questions? If there are, please do feel free to drop them in the Q&A chat. Otherwise, we can go ahead and move on. Thank you both again for the presentation.
Thank you as well.
And apologies for putting you on the back foot there. I really appreciate you being flexible and pulling up the slides on your end. Okay, so we'll move on to the next presenter. Please give us a second. We'll pull our slide deck back up and get permissions sorted out. The next presenter will be RK Software.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm just trying to share my slide, so just give it a few minutes. Can everybody see it?
We can, yes, thank you.
Okay, great. Good afternoon. So my name is Sanjay Ghosh. I am the CTO of RK Software Inc. We are a New York City based small minority-owned business. We have been in the business for the last 2 decades and have been serving New York City, state, and local government in various services that we have done for them. We are also a Microsoft certified partner. We also have Google partnerships and IBM partnerships. We are also probably the only small business in New York City that does go into payment processing. So we actually are a third-party payment processor. So we initiate all different sorts of payments, be it on a credit debit card, e-com, e-checks, check conversions, and all the other services associated with that. So some of our clients I divided it into 4 categories. So the last category talks about our payment solutions. So we have a nationwide school lunch program that supports all the school districts. San Diego is one of the school districts that we support, about 8-9 million parents. We have an app, web-based interface. This solution has been created in 2003 and running since then. We also have done various payment modernization projects for the TCAT, Ithaca-based transportation agency. They were undergoing payment modernization, so we were one of the architects in their process. We also did some PeopleSoft-based consulting in MTA, and we were one of the vendors associated with the New York State Department of Motor Vehicles on their road test modernization project, so the new road tests that are out there. In the New York City, we have been doing serving various New York City governments for the last since 2004. New York City Parks and Recreations, historic housing are some of the examples of a complete solution that we have provided that's mostly pertaining to database and MIA support with reportings and analysis. And we also do Battery Park City in the New York State. We do all their media presence, web, app. We also have several applications, the surveys, their payment processing application that we have created. We also have done some infrastructure support and development work in the New York City, in the NYPD, and in CUNY. In the IRS, we are mainly a subcontractor for IBM. We have been a part of their TIPS 4 contract. Other than that, we also did Department of Interior and FCC. We are also a GSA contract holder. So I divided the services that we have like in 4 quadrants. So it's virtualization. We do some infrastructure development, maintenance, mostly in the virtual world. Since nowadays, like most of them, like are in the virtual space. So VMware is one of our specialty there. In terms of consulting, we obviously specialize in business analysis, especially we have some expertise with cybersecurity maturity models, the compliance with cybersecurity on various industries. And in the custom computer programming world, we obviously, most of our solutions are custom database solutions that caters to a particular problem. So we do that. In the automation space, as we do a lot of payment work, so reporting is one of the core areas. We do all different kinds of reporting. And alongside with reporting, since in the payments, we have to obtain the data from various data sources. So we specialize in creation of custom data adapters, identifications, and creating a bridge, how the data gets on from the client's platform to our payment processing platform, and then connecting it to the bank's backend or treasury systems. So these are some of the highlights of some of the services. As I mentioned, like it has databases, payment solutions, data security, hostings, and custom application. Apart from that, we also do some major work in the compliance. So we do a lot of financial regulatory compliances, and we have some products around that, which caters to some of the financial institutions, some of the ethnic banks in doing their screening of transactions and creating reports. So, and we also do some work in Microsoft Dynamics space, like on the ERP end, where we do some solution architecture designing and some project custom module development. So in the services, the unique part that we offer is most of our project managers are technical project manager, and what that helps is it basically is kind of two types of resources in one go. So it can reduce communication delays and does projects in a much faster time. And it's a great thing to have in providing continual risk management. So we are very familiar with Agile software development process, which I saw was one of the requirements in the RFP. Was very excited about it. That's something that we follow. This is one of our a customized process that is obtained from that area, where we stress on initial the software development, the need assessment, testing, and then we incorporate the feedbacks, and obviously cybersecurity is one of our key focus. So these are some of the areas where we have had solutions and are serving different customers. I have had the labor categories that are used for these type of solutions. So one of the things that is worth mentioning that we have had experience with various types of backends, Oracle, SQL Server, and we also in the front end development, like we are very familiar with both Java and .NET type development. So in the Battery Park City Authority, we also have done frequent application development, but aside from that, we have also created a strong cybersecurity proactive defense program so that they are proactive in protecting their website and other assets that they have to protect their media presence. We also do some staff augmentation projects in the New York City FISA. So we have provided them on demand basis, various staffs, augmentations, PeopleSoft consultants, and business analysts and other categories. So for the TCAT, I mentioned like we have developed like the new bus pass issuing payment processing. So this is the portion where we have provided them the architecture designing and ensuring that their solution is safe and secure. Our solutions are all, I mean, since we do a lot of work in the payment space, so we are very familiar with PCI compliance. We also do some healthcare. So HIPAA compliance is also something that we are very familiar with. We understand the data security, different levels of data. We are fully PCI compliant in Arcus Software, because we are a payment processor as well. We are regularly audited by the banks. Some of the payment processing areas that we are in is restaurant franchises, school lunches, as I mentioned, rent payments, and utility bills and permit payments. With that, I would open it up for any questions if you may have. We are very excited to present ourselves for this opportunity and open to any kind of subcontracting opportunity that may arise.
Thanks, Sanjay. Unfortunately, we don't have time in your slot for questions, but anyone who does have questions for RK Software, please do reach out to them outside of this presentation. Thank you again.
Thanks.
All right, so moving on, our next presenter is going to be Rewire Group. Unfortunately, we don't see any representatives on the line as registered. So if you are on the line to represent Rewire Group, please do raise your hand, let us know, and we'll elevate your privileges for the presentation. So we'll give it a minute to make sure that no one from Rewire is on the line. Okay, so seeing no indication that we have anyone from Rewire, we'll move on to our next presenter, Uber Academic. We also unfortunately don't see anyone on the line to represent that organization. So again, we'll put out a call to see if there's a different presenter who is joining for Uber Academic. If you are here to represent that organization, please raise your hand and we'll go ahead and elevate your privileges for the presentation. Okay, so seeing no one here to represent Uber Academic, we are going to squeeze in a presentation that unfortunately this organization was not able to present in the Solution Architect Services section, but we'll go ahead and squeeze them in now since we have some additional time. So Lytic Group, if you're still on the line, we'll pass the ball to you to make up your time from earlier this afternoon.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
We can, thank you.
Okay, great. So my apologies in my scramble to get to the meeting. I ended up in a cafe, so I apologize if there's any bleeding of my sitting experience here as we go through this. My presentation is going to be very brief. This is our only slide. We'd like to put ourselves out there as a potential subcontracting partner for the IEDR solution. Our specialty is back-end data analytics, BI solutions, really end-to-end reporting solutions. And we are Microsoft specialists. So bringing solutions, crafting solutions in the Azure cloud in particular is our specialty. But we can take care of it from end to end. So we're looking for a partner who is more focused on the application development side and or a specialist in the energy sector. So we could have a role in building out the data storage, the analytics layers as necessary for each of the use cases that might come up in throughout the course of the contract, moving data to where it needs to go with ETL and ELT services, ELT using scripting with scripting platforms like Databricks, Python, Spark. If you're technical, I think you know where I've kind of gone with this. We are a New York-based WBD and we're a small business. So we're well in the habit of teaming with larger consulting companies or larger contractors, larger prime contractors, not only to be part of the contract execution, but really all throughout the process, including writing our share of the proposal. So if we were the team with specialists in the necessary categories outside of the solution architecture that we could provide, then it could be a perfect partnership. And we're, like I said, very happy to join in on the proposal writing as well. Our specialties as far as market verticals are really outside of the energy industry. we have a couple of New York City contracts, or have had, with the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. We have a contract currently with the NYPD, doing business intelligence for them. But mostly we've focused on, or our experience has been primarily in finance, healthcare, and pharmaceuticals. So I appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate the events team here squeezing me back in. And my contact information is on the upper right there. So if there are any questions, I'd love to take questions about our company and anything you might be able to provide as far as services.
Great, thank you for that presentation. Last call for questions.
Okay, thanks for the opportunity.
All right, thank you. I really appreciate you being able to join this afternoon. All right, so it looks like we may have the presenter from Rewire who's been able to join. If you would like to make up your time slot, we can go ahead and pitch in now.
Did you want me to go ahead and get started?
Yes, please. We'll pull up your slides in just a second, and then
Okay.
we can dive in. All right, you're good to go. Thank you.
Okay, there we go. So thank you for your time today. Rewire is a bit different in terms of the type of firm that we are. We work at the intersection between energy and technology. So we have expertise on both sides of the aisle. So basically, we've created a strategic bifurcation between our two divisions. We have Rewire Energy and we have Rewire Digital. So on one side, we provide energy advisory services, and this is really driven by our deep domain experience. We have partners that have significant expertise and experience in many different industries with a strong focus in energy. One of our partners has spent many years in the utility industry and operations. And now we have him working as a program manager in advanced meter interface program, an AMI program with PSE&G in New Jersey on their consumer project. We're also currently doing some work here in the capital region. We're located in Albany and also in Saratoga. We'll soon be joining ETech as a member there at that new facility down there. So significant opportunities for strategic alliances and relationships. We're in the middle of an energy measurement and verification project for the Zen building at the Albany Nanotech Complex. So that's a pretty high level and sophisticated and complex project that we're working on there. Been doing a lot of work with Albany Nanotech and the Advanced Manufacturing Performance Center there. And we're also on a new NYSERDA project soon to launch where we'll be doing some energy training. So on the technology side, we are builders. We're developing platform infrastructure across industries, but primarily we're focused on energy management. We've designed, built, and deployed community solar subscription management platforms. And currently we're working on tools that support our consulting and advisory model, specifically focused on data collection and process automation. We are focused on the digitization of energy management processes, streamlining our ability to enable our customers' vision of efficiency and economic objectives. We have a process that really breaks down neatly into three primary areas where we help our customers reduce their energy consumption. We work with them toward the electrification of their appliances, controls, and systems. And then we transition them to clean and renewable energy sources. We have strategic relationships to support all of these, and we work with developers and builders who work in renewable energy projects. And we clearly see the future of transactive energy and the need for a platform like the IEDR for market animation. And as a NYSERDA Clean Energy Training Company, we help educate our customers on how best to operate their clean energy facilities and become part of the clean energy economy. We have energy experts with deep utility experience, as I mentioned. We have energy and financial modeling experts, and we have a group of full stack platform and application developers supported by UX UI designers, project managers, QA engineers, and DevOps personnel. We can pretty much work in any part of the IEDR project. And so that is kind of our overview. As you can see from our organizational background, we have significant expertise in both energy management, energy advisory, development of energy tools, platforms and system integrations and process automation. We provide analytical services across commercial, industrial, municipal, multifamily, New York State agency customers. And we are focused on designing and building digital energy management infrastructure and solutions, moving towards the transactive energy marketplace. So again, we have significant digital capabilities from application architecture, build APIs, microservices. We have C# developers. We use React Web, React Native, .NET, just all these, different technology stacks. We're very conversant. We've done some blockchain work and worked on smart energy and utility solutions. We can pretty much support anything in terms of use case, economic analyses, requirements gathering, project management, systems integration, UX UI, design, data modeling, programming, testing, QA, reporting, administration. We have comprehensive capabilities across the spectrum of expertise and technologies that would be needed for a project like this. And that is pretty much it.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Do we have any questions? If so, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A chat. All right, last call. Okay, so seeing none, thank you again so much for the presentation and the flexibility on presenting. Much appreciated.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Okay, so at this time, we're running a little bit ahead of schedule since we've had a few missing presentations. So at this point in time, we're going to take a short break. We'll reconvene at 2:25 for our scheduled presentation at that time. Until then, everyone can stay on the line. Otherwise, please feel free to check emails, get up, stretch a bit. Really appreciate all of the presentations that we've received so far, and everyone that's demonstrated interest in the IEDR RFP, listening through the presentations that we've heard so far. So thank you again to everyone. We'll take a short break and we'll reconvene at 2:25. Hey everyone, thank you again for your interest in the IADR Development Team RFP and for participating in this matchmaking event this afternoon. We're going to go ahead and get started. We've got a couple more presentations this afternoon. So thank you for staying on the line with us. Without any further pause, I'll pass it to ABT Associates for their presentation. In this section, we're going to be covering additional services. So ABT, take it away.
Hey, thanks. So this is Jonathan Dorn. I'm a senior associate with APT Associates, and I'm in APT's Energy and Climate Group. So to start off, I just wanted to give you guys kind of a flavor of the culture at APT and a little bit of background on our company. So we've been in business for over 50 years. We're a multidisciplinary team comprised of around 3,600 experts working around the world. We currently have offices in 50 countries. Our headquarters is in Rockville, Maryland. I am down in our Durham, North Carolina office, and all the employees at APT are really united by our mission, which is to improve the quality of life and economic well-being of people worldwide. We really have 5 prongs to what we really believe in. The first one is equity. So we are committed to applying our expertise to advance equitable outcomes that improve the quality of life and economic well-being of all people. We believe in science and evidence. So we rely on science and evidence to uncover lasting solutions to entrenched challenges, and we use data-centric approaches and lead with evidence. We're a multi-sectoral solutioning. So we believe that applying a systems-informed approach grounded in multidisciplinary perspectives always delivers a more resilient, dynamic, and sustainable solution. We are aggressive in our climate change response. We believe that climate change exacerbates every social and environmental challenge, and we will integrate climate mitigation and climate resilience into all of our work. And we like to say that we also are walking the talk. So we lead by example, from having our own greenhouse gas emissions to measurably advancing gender equality to emphasizing ethics internally and with suppliers. We hold ourselves accountable and expect no less from our partners. And so I think for this bit here, we are looking for a teaming partner. We're not looking to be the prime. We're looking to bring some of our skill sets that would complement some people with more robust, I think, IT enterprise solutions. And so overall, we are kind of focused across 8 different market areas in our company, from education to equity to government and justice, all the way to environment, climate, and energy. So and we have really kind of 5 cross-cutting capabilities, since that would be digital transformations and advanced analytics, really with data capture, research monitoring and evaluation, technical assistance, and again, really all of this focused through equity. And so next slide. And so like I mentioned, I'm in the environment, climate, and energy team, and this is where I think kind of some of our core capabilities can be brought to bear here and really help complement some of the IT firms in helping to develop a comprehensive solution for NYSERDA. So a lot of the key services that we bring are data analytics. So we have a lot of UX, UI expertise and data visualization. We work in a lot of the federal and state spaces now, looking at complex data and how to make this data user-friendly and kind of easily digestible to the public. And so we have a lot of folks that can help out there. And we also have a lot of data modelers. So we have energy modelers as well as just general data modelers with deep experience using energy data and developing solutions to compensate for missing data. So we're used to working with large data sets that aren't necessarily complete. So we can certainly help what to do in situations where there might be missing data that would be essential for a user to understand at least what the data gap represents. We also have experts with energy resilience certification that can help guide the future analytic tools and system needs of the platform that will be developed for NYSERDA. We currently work with the federal government a lot with the EPA. We bring expertise in Energy Star Portfolio Manager, including developing a forthcoming Portfolio Manager data viewer. And for those not familiar with that, this is basically the database of all of the energy usage for buildings in the United States. We also have developed and support the eGrid database for EPA, and so that's basically a database for all the electric grid data in the United States and the different emissions that are associated with the use of electricity. We currently have a pretty deep relationship with NYSERDA. We've been supporting NYSERDA now for over a decade. In the last 5 years alone, we've supported more than 10 projects, ranging from looking at hydrogen systems and hydrogen infrastructure, the oil and gas sector, the electric grid performance gaps, combined heat and power. We've done some EV battery life cycle assessments for manufacturing of different EV battery types in New York State. We also have deep experience in economics and health benefits that are associated with energy policies and options. And so we've been applying those skills to the CLCPA and helping NYSERDA advance towards its goals of carbon neutrality. And some additional service that we bring, like I mentioned, we have experts in environmental justice and the use of data sets to identify and support disadvantaged communities. And so this is something that is important when considering the design here, especially from a user aspect, making sure that whatever is designed is also accessible to disadvantaged communities. I think it would be very important. And we also have a lot of expertise with stakeholder engagement, so we can help reach out to local communities and bring different stakeholders to the table to have enlightened discussions to help understand a better solution for NYSERDA with the overall product. So with that I think is all I wanted to say today, but looking forward to hearing from anyone that would be interested in using some of our capabilities as a partner. And I appreciate the time.
Thank you so much for the presentation. Do we have any questions? If so, I'll remind everyone that if you have a question for a presenter, you can go ahead and drop it in the Q&A chat function that we have for the presentation today. We'll give one last call. All right, thank you, and sincerest apologies for the mispronunciation on the name there at the beginning. Thank you for the presentation today. Really appreciate your interest and participation. Okay, so it looks like up next we have Calico Energy. So if you raise your hand, we'll go ahead and elevate your permissions and pass the ball off to you.
Great. Can everybody hear me? I think I've been unmuted.
We can hear you.
Great. So let me share with you a little bit about the Calico platform and where we see our added value to the IEDR. Really, it's around initially the use cases submitted by New York City to support local laws 84, 87, and 97. That really needs whole building data. So if you think about utility data structures and the data utilities have traditionally collected, they know what an account is. A utility bills an account, they collect money from an account. They may or may not know exactly where the meter is. If they have AMI, advanced metering infrastructure, they probably tried to collect the lat long on the meter. We've seen that with mixed success. If they have a drive-by system, the lat long is typically often the middle of the road, so not very relevant. And if they don't have any sort of automated meter system, we've seen descriptions of meter locations such as end of runway 3 at the airport. So in order to do building benchmarking, you need to get aggregated data at the building level. Energy Star Portfolio Manager, for instance, looks for 12 months of data. That's very problematic to utilities because they've just never had a need to think about buildings. So the Calico platform handles all of that aggregation of all of the accounts in a particular building such that that building can be benchmarked. In addition, it's not just the active accounts. To get 12 months, you need maybe accounts that aren't there anymore. Maybe you even need time when the space reverted to the landlord. We handle all of the anonymization rules, all of the permission protocols if permission is needed. If there's a certain number of units in a building where there's no permission, our platform manages all of those thresholds. We do that while handling all of the data privacy. One of the things about aggregating this data is utility addresses can be quite problematic. Problematic in terms of their accuracy, problematic in terms of how people describe addresses. Buildings can be problematic in terms of they often have multiple addresses. If you're in a city or a town and you're a large building on the corner between an avenue and a street, you may have multiple addresses for the building, multiple addresses for the meter cabinet. Maybe row houses for multifamily could have 3 or 4 addresses on the same street. So the Calico platform handles all of that, and in addition has a whole functionality for the building owner and the building manager to actually approve that that data is complete. So the one person who does know who's in a building is the landlord or the building manager because they have the rent roll. So our platform does a lot of intelligence around address matching, etc. But in addition, we allow the building manager or owner to do that confirmation against the rent roll. We have integration with Energy Star Portfolio Manager. It's two-way integration. In New York City, the utilities have tried to solve this by using the Beeble with maybe reasonable success. But the concept of the Beeble, the borough block lot, for tax data does not really exist across the rest of the state of New York. In conversations with utilities in New York and outside of New York, we recognize that this is going to be a significant problem if the utilities are asked to aggregate this data up prior to it going to the IEDR. So we think a logical place to handle this aggregation is within the IEDR against the raw data that the utilities can supply easily, rather than putting the onus on the utility to do this aggregation. The other challenge for utilities in doing this sort of aggregation is that utilities typically think of customers in 3 classes: residential, commercial, and industrial. Unfortunately, buildings don't easily conform to that. In an analysis of one of our deployments in a large Midwestern city, we found that over 50% of the buildings benchmarked were multi-tenanted buildings. And of those, 2/3 were mixed use, typically commercial on the ground floor and residential above, quite commonly. So there's a whole variety of historical reasons why the utilities are not great at this. So we think that platform can be used for it. In addition, there are a whole raft of other use cases for whole building data. If you're looking to do an energy audit, typically a detailed ASHRAE Level 2 audit will require that audit to be calibrated against utility data. We handle that, providing the data for that use case. If you're looking at M&V, having building level data is crucial. We also do the aggregation not only on the consumption, but on the interval data. So if you're looking at some of the scenarios contemplated about understanding load for a particular substation, there is an advantage of putting an intermediate building step between that meter data and aggregating it up to the feeder. So when utilities then look to figure out where to deploy DERs, either in front of or behind the meter, you can start to think of that around buildings and the relevance of buildings. So it's really important to think about the role that buildings play, not just accounts and meters. So in addition, that's our primary use case today, is around rolling data up to buildings. But because we have a very powerful aggregation engine with also a confirmation user interface as well, we can look at other data aggregations for other future use cases. Maybe if a community wanted to look at community choice aggregation, it would be important to roll up all of the data within that community such that they can go to competitive energy suppliers to say, this is the load I'm looking for the town of XYZ. I'll guarantee the municipal buildings, and I'll put in an offer to everybody else in the town. So those other data aggregations, such as that, aggregating to zip code, all of a whole variety of things, including looking, if you've got aggregation at the building level, starting to understand what the office impact is within a particular utility territory. What if we electrify 10% of the offices, but only 5% of the retail premises? Or we could look at all of those dimensions of analysis if you can get whole building data there. In addition, because we bring data back from Portfolio Manager, there's a lot of data that can complement the IEDR platform or even be put back into the IEDR platform, such as the building's energy use intensity, the building's Energy Star score, building square footage. All of those data elements can be added directly into the IEDR or referenced by extension and coordinated with the IEDR to look at potentially helping the community target buildings. For instance, if a building had a good Energy Star Portfolio Manager score initially, and that score is getting worse over time, one can probably infer with a reasonable amount of certainty that that building is a candidate for a retro commissioning opportunity versus a building that started with an awful score and has stayed as an awful score, which is probably a good candidate for a retrofit opportunity. In addition, we do have the ability to bring back fuels from multiple utilities, so you can look at that in a more granular sense as well for data aggregation. We think we're relevant to the build element of it as well as the operation element. We are an existing platform. We are deployed at utilities. Our customers collectively support over 10 million customers. So we're used to large scale aggregation and handling of utility data and providing that data for analysis, as well as doing that with consumption and interval data. With that, I'll stop and ask if there are any questions. Great. If there aren't any questions, feel free to contact me. We see ourselves as an application adding value, regardless of the architecture of the IEDR. We don't see ourselves as someone to prime an enterprise like this.
Thank you for the presentation this afternoon. Much appreciated.
Thanks.
Excellent. So moving on, I'm not sure if we have anyone on the line representing Delane Associates. If you are, please raise your hand and we'll go ahead and elevate your permissions and get you set up to present. Okay, so seeing no one, we'll move on to the next presentation. Great. Do we have anyone from Grassroots Practice? If so, again, please raise your hand and we'll go ahead and elevate your privileges to be a presenter. And we'll let you roll into your presentation. So we'll give it a minute, see if anyone is on the line representing Grassroots Practice. Okay, so unfortunately, it doesn't look like we have a presenter for Grassroots Practice. I know we're jumping ahead a bit in the schedule, but I believe we do have a presenter on the line from TI Solutions. If you're okay to go ahead and present a little bit early, we'll pass the mic off to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just to this is for TI Solution. Yes. Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. I do not have the slides, but would like to just introduce myself. First of all, thank you for the matchmaking opportunity and providing the platform to present ourselves for IETR project. Myself, Rinkesh Bhagat, I am the owner, president of TI Solution. We are New York State and federally certified, disabled certified veteran-owned business as well as a minority-owned business. We specialize in software application services, program project management, quality engineering, quality assurance, staff augmentation. We are here to explore the subcontracting opportunities. We do have some existing contracts. So I'm going to speak about that a little bit later. But as far as software application services goes, we are partnered with the key vendors like Microsoft, Bing Identity, Danview, Micro Focus, and many more. We do have some prime contracts with the New York State Financial Insurance, New York State Insurance Fund, one of the New York State agency. Then as far as the subcontracting goes, we have some subcontracting right now with the New York City agency, with the DOE, DOHMH, and mayor office. We are providing program and project management services and quality engineering and assurance services to them. And primarily we focus on IT staffing. The main purpose to be here today is to see how we can participate and provide our services for this project. That's pretty much it. And once again, looking forward to be part of this project if we have opportunity. Thanks, everyone. Questions?
All right, do we have any questions? Well, all right, seeing none in the Q&A chat, we'll go ahead and move on to the next presenter. And we are running quite ahead of schedule. I believe we have the presenter on for V Group. Yep, see the hand up, so we'll pass the mic off to you. Thank you for joining.
Hi, good afternoon all. This is Brijesh from V Group. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity for this matchmaking event. Well, quickly, we'll go in, for the next slide, and we'll let you know about who we are actually, right? So we have been in this industry since more than 2 decades now, and we have been providing technology solutions to public sector since 99, and we are certified minority and women-based enterprise from more than 20 government agencies and states. As well as we are currently holding 6 New York State contract vehicles, state and city both, and we are supporting over 30 states across the United States on their technology needs. So we are also Microsoft Gold partner, as well as we have been focusing more on the IT professionals and consulting services. We are providing services on the staff augmentations a lot. We are specialized supporting on the PMO, ERP, financial, human resources, time and labor management, performance tracking, etc. So these are our primary core specialties. Can we go to the next slide, please? Wonderful, thank you. So, so when we talk about our so far success thing, so within, as I mentioned, within the New York State and city, we have 6 contract vehicles. Apart from this, there are several public sector contract vehicles that we are working upon. Primarily, obviously, New York State and city, then California, DC, Florida, Maryland, Michigan, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Washington State, Wisconsin, etc. So there are a lot of contract vehicles that we have been working. Apart from the contract vehicles, we are also working on different MSP programs to serve different state customers and agencies. Please go to the next slide, please. Okay, thank you. So when we talk about specific solutions, when it comes to court solutions, so we have a specifically provided court solution to New York State ITS, OCFS, as well as PennDOT. They were kind of very challenging environment that ITS had, and we had provided court solutions first on the IntelliGrants, then the ITSM ServiceNow, as well as PMBOK court software that we had provided to them. Then when it comes to PennDOT, they were having challenge about their SharePoint environment where we had provided long-term staff augmentation and consulting services. So these projects are currently going on yet. So we are still serving them on these contracts. So these are our specific, I should say, the strength that we have been providing so far. Then I would like to share more on our internal strategies and the processes that we have been following. So that will help us to provide our customer-based service possible. Please go to the next slide. So this is our recruitment process model, what we follow thoroughly. So primarily when it comes to our understanding, so we always help our customers at the beginning to understand the requirements, as well as we will like help them to define the requirements in a quick shape so that we will serve them better. Then, of course, we have our internal pipeline as well as certified recruiters to work on those requirements and take to the next level. We have internal technical panel who evaluate, screen, and gauge candidates so that we provide the qualified resources to our clients. So this is a high-level model that we kind of focus upon. To help on this model, that we have an internal database, more than 200,000 consultants, primarily working on different state customers. So in the next slide, like there is a snapshot about our internal database, which we take care on daily basis. Basically, if I may, I can tell this is the weapon that we use to work on the recruitment team actually. So in the next slide, we can see that snapshot that we have. So we really maintain this highly comprehensive in-house database on daily basis. So a specific team is dedicated to take care of this particular database. And with this ATS, we reduce the turnaround time, and we provide the faster turnaround on the staffing needs of our customers. So this is primarily about Vigo, that what we are, what exactly do we do, what sort of customers do we have. We are open for partnering with other primes. So we can definitely love to coordinate with the people for this opportunity from NYSERDA. We can definitely work on this. So this is all about us, about Vigro. Any question, please go ahead. This is all from us. I'll just stop here. Any question? I don't see the chat.
So far, it doesn't look like we've received any questions. We'll go ahead and leave it open for a minute or so, just to see if anything comes in.
Sure.
Still doesn't look like we're getting anything. So with that, if there's anything else you'd like to close out on, I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. So that brings us to the end of the list of our registered organizations who wanted to take the opportunity to present today. I will do one final call for organizations that were registered but did not or were not able to meet their slot. We have Sparata Tech, we have Uber Academic, Deland Associates, and Grassroots Practice. If there's a representative from any of those organizations please go ahead and message us or raise your hand. Otherwise, we won't be able to accommodate any presentations from stakeholders who did not register before the 4/6 deadline. So one final call for any of those organizations that I mentioned that were signed up for a slot today. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and close out on the event. All right, so seeing no response to the last call, I just want to take one last opportunity to thank all of you for your interest in the IEDR Development Team RFP. We really appreciate your time and consideration. Thank you again for the presentations. Just a few quick reminders. Number one, the RFP will be closing out on May 12th. So just want to make sure everyone has that deadline in mind. It looks like we do have some closeout slides on next steps. So it looks like I'm getting a little ahead of myself. If we could jump ahead to those. Great, perfect, thank you. Again, for next steps, just want to make sure everyone is aware of the proposal deadline. If you have additional questions, please reach out to us at iedr@nycerta.newyork.gov. Please do make sure you are reaching out to me, Kyle Monsees. I'm the designated contact for this solicitation. Please do make sure that you are following all of the rules related to reaching out to the designated contact as they are listed in the RFP documentation. So again, just referencing back to the beginning of our presentation, the high level timeline. We anticipate making an announcement related to this open solicitation in late Q2 of this year. And awarding contracts by late Q2, early Q3, depending on negotiations. So we also anticipate a project kickoff around the same timeline, again, depending on the duration of negotiations. We do see one question coming in the chat. Is the letter of intent due Thursday optional? Yes, we very much appreciate interested parties letting us know that you're interested by filling out that attachment and submitting it as outlined in the instructions in the RFP, but it is optional. You will not be precluded from submitting a response to the RFP if you do not fill out the intent. So with that, I'll thank everyone one last time for your participation today and your interest in the program. Again, one final call. If you have additional questions, please reach out at iedr@nycerta.newyork.gov. Otherwise, we'll close out. And I sincerely hope everyone has a great rest of your day. And as one final reminder, we'll be posting these presentations publicly for future record and reference. So, thanks, everyone.